Hello everybody and welcome to our Fleurs education. Now this is the Astrantia, which means star, and you will find this in the Eternal Blossom collection, okay? It's a beautiful, beautiful flower. Now if I just move that in a little bit, this is the flower we're actually going to be making. And it is just glorious. So we've got lots of detail in the middle going on and just a few petals on the outside edge. And you're going to say, yeah, there's a lot there happening, but it is so easy, okay? So in front of me, I have the board with the breakdown of the dies that you're going to get. So these are the petals, these are the leaves, and this is the die that cuts the little strips out for the middle. Now it's really easy to do this. This is actually a swift die, so when you cut these out, you'll actually get 3 at a time, which really speeds up the making. And then you've got these petals as well, which you will need all of these for your flower. So let's pop that to one side. Now, first of all, I'm going to bring in my wire, okay? And you're going to say, what's going on here? So what I've actually done is lay this out like so. I've cut my little strips, said strips, okay? And because I've got paper wrapped wires, I've just attached them one edge, folded it over with wet glue. Then I've left a gap and put another one, left a gap, put another one, and I've filled an entire wire. Now I've done this because it's so much easier than doing individual ones, because you need to let this dry and set to be able to work with it properly, because we're going to be using wet glue, okay? And it is really easy. It'll all make sense when we start working with them. So I'm going to pop on my glasses. So these are all the centerpieces to that flower. So where it comes to the first one, where that actual where I've actually popped it on and glued it in place, I'm just snipping those away, okay? And I'm only going to do a few of them because you'll get the idea when I actually start building the flower, okay? You're going to need your 2 centimeter polystyrene balls for this one as well. So you just snip, keep snipping until you've got all these extra little pieces. It couldn't be easier. Then what you're going to do, and I find it doing it the easiest way, okay? So I've had a go at different ways of actually building this, and this is the easiest and quickest way. That's why I cut lots of them out and I do this. So I have them all in my foam block ready. So I stab them all in so they look like little flags. So what we're now going to do is pop a little bit of glue all the way along here. We do get a little bit sticky, and then as if we were quilling, we just roll that all up, okay, like so. So we're not stretching this or anything like that, and that's one. It couldn't be any easier, and it is so quick. It's one of those things that once you actually get into the rhythm of actually making all of these, it's really easy. It's just finding the easiest way of doing it. So I've tried many different ways where I cut one and build one, and this for me is the far easiest, and it's the quickest to show you how to build it. So as you can see, each one is like its own little flag, a little bit of wet glue all the way to the edge, and it's that quilt. So all I'm doing is rolling that wire. So I've left myself enough space that I can actually hold the wire and spin it to glue that on, okay? So, and then what we're going to do is add a little bit of ink to the edges of the leaves that we've got. I've already gone ahead and wrapped the polystyrene ball. So my wire is exactly, I will show it you in a second. The wire, I've actually done the actual head of the flower already. But you would use your dies, cut out your little centerpiece, your oval, and then wrap the foam faux ball. But these are those little seed heads that go in the middle of the flower. And you don't have to do as many If you don't want, you can just do a few and do a more closed flowers if it's just opening up and it's in bud. There's lots of variations on this. So that is our centerpieces. So I've got a few of those. So if we go to the actual, got the ball. We've had in previous collections the centre dies that are ovals that you would cut out and wrap your polystyrene ball. So I've attached my wire using hot glue and I've attached the rest of my circle cut out onto my polystyrene ball using wet glue. Then I've just gathered it around and secured it. But I did this ahead of time because I need it to be dry so I can show you the next stage, okay? So what we do now is I'm going to add a little bit of ink to our petals. So I've opted to use a little bit of green, but if you go on the internet and actually have a look at these flowers, oh my goodness, there's some really super colourful flowers. And I'm adding ink just on that tip. Okay, like so, on all of them. So those, and also the smaller ones, so it's exactly the same thing, just capturing it on the edge. You don't have to do both sides on these ones because when we curl them, you're not actually going to be able to see the underneath of the petal. Okay. I'm just going to get myself one more of these little petals because you're going to need 2, 4, 2, 6, 7, 2, 7 of each. Already got lots cut out ready. And then a little bit of ink on that last one. Then what I do is I bring them all together in a little pile on top of one another. And so all the green is facing upwards so I can see where I've inked all of them. Like so. Then I take my pokey tool and I curl all of them in one go. And then sit them down. And then the same again with the larger ones. Like so. Bring them all together. Making sure the ink is on the top, because when we curl them, we want the green to go downwards like so, okay? So they're all curled and ready to go. So now is the next stage. Using my pliers, I've chopped a little bit off. I'm just going to get hold of the stem, so I'm holding that nice and firm. And that goes into the top, into the middle, like so. So that's the first one. Look, see that little bud? So again, I'm going to shorten it off a little bit. Hold on to it with my snips. And then I'm going to space these out on the little foam ball. Like so. And again, these are super easy to build, aren't they? So once you've actually done your wrapping and you've got them all together, they couldn't be any easier to actually put together. Okay, like so. I would actually put a few more than this on here. Some of them on here, I think I've done about 8 or 9. But we'll stop it there so you can just get the idea of how we're building it. So I would put a few more on the top like so. Then changing my colour of my ink. I'm just going to pick up a little bit of this and I'm just going to brush across the top of each one of these. And it changes them instantly. Like so. So now we've got this little flower head within the actual top. So that is the centre. And now all we need to do is build the actual leaf. So I'm just going to squeeze a little bit of glue out like so. We have been favouring, or I have been favouring, hot glue for building a lot of these. but I find sometimes when there's only a minimal layer to pop on, a little bit of wet glue. So I'll just tap the base of the leaf, take a lot of it off, and then just apply. But we're coming about maybe 2/3, not quite 2/3 down the actual polystyrene ball, and the petal is curved outwards. Okay, so we're going to go around, and they just go edge to edge with each other. Okay, really easy, edge to edge. And we're going to work our way all the way around. Sometimes you might find that you might have overlapped them a little bit, so you end up that you might need an extra leaf or an extra petal, sorry. But you should make it quite comfortably all the way around with 7, like so. So that is the beginning of the actual flower. And then with these, we're going to do exactly the same thing again. But if you can see, where we've got our 2 petals, we're now going to bring it down and place it in between these 2 petals. So that is the first one, but I'm bringing it a little bit further down on the actual foam ball. Okay. I'm going to go all the way around again. So once you've actually again got all these cut out and inked, the flower itself is quite quick to build. Like so. And I'm placing each one of these in between that gap of the petals before. This is my last one. And I just go around and make sure I press all of those into place and secure them, because obviously we're using wet glue and I don't want them to come away. So that in itself, that's the actual flower. How easy is it? But it's spectacular. It just gives you, again, it's so architectural in the way it grows and the difference it gives you. Isn't that wonderful? So you could just use these as buds. You could use these little tiny ones in your card making as well. And then to go with this, we have the leaves. So we have 3 different sizes. I've already popped 2 of the leaves together. Okay. So they're 2 of the leaves. And the third one, it's really easy to build. So when you cut this out, we're going to need one of the wires. So let's get the wire. You place it on, and it's on the packaging. You place your die on the crepe paper. Let me just get my die. At a slight angle. Okay. So if we look at this crepe paper, I place the die on, whoops, like so. So my crepe paper grain is running vertically up and down, and I've placed my die on at an angle. Now when you do this, it always goes that the shape is at that top left, okay? And then I do double it up, so I end up with 2 leaves, okay? So we've got 2 halves, and by doing them in halves, it's a lot more value for money for you guys, because we can do more of them. Okay, and also it gives you this fabulous grain effect straight away. So as we've done these before in the halves, a little bit of wet glue down that straight edge. We're going to add in the wire. Give that a really good press into there. And then on that wire, another tiny little bead of glue. And then so you can see, I'm going to take my fingers out the way. So this now overlaps and captures that wire into the middle of the leaf. Okay, like so. And now I'm pressing that leaf down in the middle, but instantly because we've put that wire in the middle, can you see that central vein in the middle that you would see in a real leaf anyway? So if I bring the others in, look how fabulous these look. Now again, a little bit of ink if you wanted to. You can add a little bit of shape on the edges as well, if that's what you wanted to do. Ideally, when you add in the ink, let them dry a little bit first to make sure they're dry and you can use them. Then I'm going to take a little bit of tape, bring in my leaves. This one I'm going to bring to the base of my flower, like so. And start wrapping. As we did, if you've watched the when we make the branch. So now I'm going to bring in the next one and hold it where I've stopped with the actual tape. Bring it to the base of the leaf, like so, okay? And then start wrapping again. And then stop again. And then my final leaf, I'm bringing the leaf wire up in line to the base again where I've stopped, capturing that wire and then continue on. Okay, make sure everything's in and secure, and then make sure your leaves are dry at this point. And then you add in your petals, that's your flower, and then your leaves, and you can create a beautiful blossom just like that. Isn't that wonderful? And it's so easy to make, so easy to make. Okay, so it may look a little bit complicated because it's a slightly unusual flower and we've built it in a little bit different way, but they are just fabulous and they add so much structure and texture to your projects. They're just wonderful. So again, thank you very much for joining me, and we'll see you all again soon. Bye.
If you want to see more from Highlight Crafts, make sure you click the like button, subscribe by clicking the subscribe button below, and click the bell icon to receive notifications of all of our future content. You can also click here to see our latest video, or click here to see more videos like this one.